Hello, welcome to week number 1, topic 1b, where we're going to talk about red blood cells.
For this lecture, we're going to talk about the functions of blood, what it's made of or its composition. We're going to talk about erythrocytes, which are our red blood cells. We'll complete a lecture-based assignment, and we'll review our study guide. First, let's look at the functions of blood, because blood is the fluid moved through the circulatory system. Blood plays a huge role in gas exchange of both oxygen and carbon dioxide. It plays a role in metabolism. It moves metabolites, ions, and fuel sources around the body. It plays a role in waste elimination. The kidneys and filter blood in order to remove waste and other materials. It plays a role in hormone transport, in the immune system, in fluid and ion balance, again in combination with the kidneys. And it plays a role in heat transfer. You shunt blood to your core to store heat, and you push blood to the periphery to eliminate heat. If we look at what blood is made of, the easiest way to separate the components is to take a sample of blood, to place that blood in a tube, and to spin it in a centrifuge. And blood will separate out into 3 layers. 55% of whole blood will be made up of a yellowish fluid called plasma. 1% of whole blood will be located in between the plasma layer and the erythrocyte layer. These are your white blood cells and platelets, which make up the buffy coat. And then the remaining 45% of your blood will be your red blood cells, or your erythrocytes. Now, the percentage of your blood that is erythrocytes is your hematocrit. And this should typically be around 45%, but it can be as high as 50 or even 55 in a well-trained athlete. Plasma consists of a large number of inorganic and organic substances dissolved in water, and most of it is water. Plasma is going to carry our electrolytes, nutrients such as glucose and amino acids, waste such as urea, bilirubin, and creatinine, gases, both oxygen and carbon dioxide, hormones, and large plasma proteins like your albumins, your globulins, and fibrinogen. Serum is plasma that has had the fibrinogen and other proteins involved with clotting removed. Erythrocytes are your red blood cells, and the major function of erythrocytes is gas transport. They carry oxygen taken in by the lungs and carbon dioxide produced by the cells throughout the body, where other tissues can either uptake the oxygen or lose the carbon dioxide. Erythrocytes are going to contain large amounts of the protein hemoglobin, to which both oxygen and carbon dioxide reversibly combine. And they are going to be shaped like a biconcave disc. They're very small in size, approximately 7 microns in diameter, which gives them a high surface area to volume ratio. This favors the diffusion of oxygen and carbon dioxide into and out of the cell. Now, mammalian erythrocytes, once they reach maturity, don't have a nucleus and they don't have organelles. So there's actually no division of mature red blood cells. Erythrocytes have a short lifespan. They only last about 120 days. They're synthesized in the red bone marrow by a process called erythropoiesis, And this is regulated by a hormone, which we'll talk about later, erythropoietin, or EPO. It's a hormone released from the kidney, which triggers the differentiation of hematopoietic stem cells into erythrocytes. Now, erythrocytes are a classic example of complementarity of structure and function. Remember, they're a biconcave disc. Which increases the surface area available for diffusion. If you exclude the water, they're more than 90% hemoglobin. They are anucleate, so they have no nucleus or organelles. Which means all of the space inside the cell is used for hemoglobin. In addition, they make their ATP anaerobically. So they don't consume the oxygen they carry. This brings us to our lecture-based assignment question for this section. Describe how erythrocyte structure complements its function. Please take a minute now and pause the video to try and answer this question on your own. Your answer should contain 4 different ways in which erythrocyte structure complements its function. The first is that they're biconcave, which gives them an increased surface area for diffusion. They're anucleate, which means there's more room for carrying hemoglobin. They're more than 90% hemoglobin. If you don't include the water. And they make their ATP anaerobically. without oxygen. So they aren't using the oxygen that they're carrying. Last but not least, our study guide questions for this week. You should be able to describe the major functions of blood, the major substances that make up blood, and how erythrocyte structure complements its function. Have a nice day.